All right, guys, we are here today. It is GDP data, jobless claims Thursday. We'll see if we get anything good. Nasdaq is. All right, guys, we are here today. It is. Sorry for the echo. All right, there we go. Oh, dude, I hurt my neck. I don't know whether I heard it sleeping or whether I heard it training jujitsu or something. Bitcoin, all the way up to 113s today. That's better for it. You can see Nvidia here. There's Bitcoin right here. Put gold up maybe. Gold right here. Gold up to 34.54s. Lower this a little bit. Enlarge. Also. There we go. Alright. Nasdaq coming down a little bit. Technically though, if we're looking at like whether we're red or green, Nasdaq's pretty green on the day. So is the S&P. So is a lot of tech. Nvidia is still down slightly from their earnings. They closed at 181.60s. They're at 178s. Now, Nvidia BDPS beat revenue, had pretty good numbers, but they reacted negatively to their stuff here. Oh, dude, my neck hurts. See, the problem is I can't turn my neck. Oof, dude, this hurts. I can't turn my neck easily. Like, I can turn it this way. This hurts. Ugh, that hurts. Have I... Ow. Oh, my gosh, dude. Oof. I don't know what I did. I don't know whether I slept on it wrong. I probably heard it training yesterday. I trained yesterday, but... Man, dude. GDP data is Q2 GDP. It drops 8:30 Eastern Standard Time along with jobless claims, unemployment. Hey, what's up, Faye? The Blaze, Ryan, M. Powell, on Lee. Yeah, I can joke around and unpin that message now. Todd, drop. Yep. Jair. Oh man, it hurts. All right, guys, so let's talk about some stuff going on today. Nvidia posted strong Q2 results. Dude. I don't know whether I should like stretch it or what. Yeah, Nvidia, I'm gonna have to put everything on this side. Nvidia posted strong Q2 results, announced a 60 billion share buyback. Shares still dipped. They're down about 2% in pre-market. It stems from China revenue being excluded from guidance, right? So they had guidance amid lingering trade tensions, but they excluded China revenue from it. So people are pessimistic regarding that. Snowflake, SNOW, surged approximately 14% with good Q2 beat and an optimistic outlook for next year. We had some other stuff moving in meme stocks and stuff like that. We have Live Person down 8.4%. Gryphon Digital Mining up almost 12%. Pure Storage up almost 17%. And Aqua Bounty up 31%. Li Auto fell 4.5% ahead of its release. Best Buy and Dollar General up 2% ahead of their earnings report, attracting attention from investors so far this morning. Best Buy posted some numbers about 20 minutes ago. They posted 128 versus 120 EPS revenue of 9.4 billion versus 9.22 billion expected. Dollar General posted a 186 EPS versus 158 expected, revenue of 10.7 versus 10.67. So DG, BDPS, and revenue. And they are reacting positively to it. They're up to 118s right now. I still don't like Dollar General. If you guys know me, it's not my favorite company. It's just too risky of a long-term investment. Short-term, you never know what anything's going to do. Dude. All right, so we did bounce right here at about 585s on the NASDAQ. Right around 585s, right? 583s. If we hold Bitcoin up a little bit, Nvidia down, tech is up, NASDAQ is slightly green on the day. Here's DG's numbers. I don't know, most of the time Nvidia does the same thing. You know, so like I know a lot of people are betting against AI and I get it. What I'm trying to say though is that most of the time, if you listened to me before the stream yesterday, before the earnings were released, one of the things that I said the most prior to the earnings release was that Nvidia most of the time beats and then drops. Okay, that's actually the pretty consistent move from Nvidia from earnings. It's not going to happen every time, of course, but most of the time Nvidia beats EPS, beats revenue like it did, and then drops a little bit. And that's exactly what it did. Nvidia is not down that much. It's at 178s. So Nvidia, it's not like Nvidia had some massive correction here. Like if you look at a longer term chart, Nvidia is essentially back where it was Monday, you know? So like Nvidia hasn't really had some parabolic drop like people are acting like. Nvidia is almost at 178.50s right now. It hit 179.50 this morning. And so it's essentially flat from this earnings report. It's not a big reaction. I need to posture up. See, what's weird is that when I first woke up, it hurt to turn my head to the right. Now I can turn my head to the right, but if I start to turn my head to the left, it hurts. Actually, that doesn't hurt that bad either. It must be like a specific angle. Because I'll be sitting here. Maybe my posture's bad. I should posture up. If that helps. Anyways, maybe I'm gonna look at a short at like 605 today. Remember, jobless claims unemployment. We got jobless claims unemployment. We got GDP data, quarter two GDP. I'll put the numbers up and what to expect here from this report. GDP expected at 3.1%, a slight revision upward from the 3% it showed last time. So they're actually expected. GDP is expected at 3.1% versus 3% previously estimated. They're revising it up 0.1%. Jobless claims are expected at 230K. Last time they came in at previous of 235. So they're expecting a slight downward move here, but last time they came in over 10,000 worse than expected. All right, that is now scrolling at the bottom of the screen here. If we get a short up here, a little bounce. Yeah, maybe I'm just getting on. I don't know if it's bullish or bearish. It depends on what the numbers. It depends on what the numbers show up. Look at gold spike ahead of this though. Gold up to almost 34.60s ahead of this report. Interesting. Gold spiking up here. Let me look to see if we got any other breaking news. All right, guys. So we had Best Buy numbers. Again, Nvidia analysts lift price target despite pre-market dip. Nvidia down 1.8% in pre-market even after beating earnings, raising guidance, although they didn't include the China chip sales. That's why they reacted so negatively here. July quarter revenue hit 46.7 versus 46.2 expected, 12% growth in Blackwell. JP Morgan raised their price target to 215 from 170. Strong GPU and networking growth was cited as the reason. Morgan Stanley lifted it to 210 from 206, noting upside even without China. KeyBank targeted 230 overweight despite mixed data center results. DA Davidson 195 versus 135 last time. Neutral, flagging China uncertainty but strong AI demand. And Truist up to 228 price target, calling Nvidia the AI company overall. And analysts see Nvidia as a leader in AI. We'll see if that continues. Are you buying this dip? Let me do a poll right now. All right, so are you bull or bear on today's GDP and jobless claims reports? Let me know. Gold's pushing up, showing some uncertainty fears ahead of this. We got about an hour until this drops, about 1 hour. So it's such a small drop. People are acting like Nvidia's over, but the reality of it is the drop is so small. It's almost insignificant, in my opinion. Right? Like it's mostly flat, is what I see it as. Like, I see this as mostly flat here. Yeah, we got about an hour left. I see it as mostly flat. Yeah. Hey, what's up, B? The BT, Eduardo. There he goes. I don't know, Bitcoin's going up. It's at the 113 something. It's better than it was yesterday. Sorry guys, my neck is in pain today. I don't know what it is. Could be from trading jiu-jitsu yesterday. That's probably what it was. I rolled with like a 220-pound white belt wrestler. I was able to catch him, but now my neck hurts. You know, always a risk. Nvidia maintained pretty well. Yeah, I mean, it's holding. It's holding. Gold is pushing up. Look at gold rip. I'm trying to see if there's any news from this. I don't see anything right now for gold. VG upgraded at Deutsche. COO downgraded at Citi. Okay, so Nvidia, according to William Blair, says buy on weakness. William Blair reiterated outperform on Nvidia after a modest beat and raised quarter guidance. Excluded H2O sales to China export uncertainty, but Blackwell delivered $10 billion in revenue, ramping up faster than expected. So mostly optimism from analysts regarding Nvidia. I'm reading a couple different posts here from them. But outside of this, we don't really have any breaking news right now. It's been kind of slow. Best Buy reported, Dollar General reported. I really don't know why gold's spiking up as much as it is right now. Look at the volume show up too. Interesting. It's a big move for gold. Look at it. Does somebody know something here? Ford is recalling 213,000 and 101,000 U.S. vehicles, according to NHTSA. Okay, so the ECB minutes is out. Maybe this is what's driving it. So the ECB minutes, which is kind of like the FOMC minutes, but the ECB minutes said it was argued. This is the European Central Bank. They said it was argued that soft data suggested a more benign situation than at the time of the June meeting. Yeah, the dollar index is fading down here. If we take a look at the Dixie here, sorry. All right, there we go. Dixie down to 97.935. So if we take a look at yields today, 10-year Treasury yields, they're pretty much flat. They're basically where they were yesterday. They're at 4.23%. Gotta see, today we're slightly up, but we're basically flat. Haven't really moved. Range is pretty tight in yields. If we take a look at rate cut odds today, rate cut odds as of now still at 87%, virtually unchanged from yesterday. No movement there for rates. Gold, guys, is spiking though right now. Look at gold spike here. Dollar index is down. Look at the volume spike in gold. So everybody can know at home. Gold. Running up big this morning. Interesting. Yeah, I watched nuclear. Yeah, you can get a payout through an XFA. You gotta fit within their rules of payouts, but yeah. Yeah, you can. I'm pretty I mean, I've done it before in an XFA. I've taken a payout in an XFA before. Pretty sure you can. I'm not really one that likes definitive statements because there's always a small chance, but yeah, you can take a payout at an XFA. Hey, what's up, Tibet? Any good news today? We got GDP and jobless claims coming in at 8:30. GDP is expected at 3.1%, 3%. This is the first revision. The way GDP drops for each quarter is they do an initial estimate, which is the most variance-filled one, right? It's going to have the most variance, and then they're going to do a first revision. They're going to revise that initial estimate, which is what today is, and then they're going to have their final revision, which is kind of like the finalized number, because it's quarterly, right? So each month in the quarter, you get a different version. You get initial estimate, first revision, final revision for GDP. Jobless claims is a weekly report that gives us a more real-time look at unemployment. Yeah, we're going to be live tomorrow morning. PCE data. Of course. Again, if we get up to 600, I might short. I kind of need 600 though. I don't really want to short it earlier. It could reject here at 97 where this previous low was. That's possible, but I'd like 6, maybe 605, even better. We'll see if we get it. I'm gonna wait for it. Yeah, I don't usually sleep on my stomach. Last night I slept on my stomach, like literally on my stomach with my head to the side. I could imagine maybe that's what's doing this to my neck right now. Hurts, but I feel like Batman. I gotta turn my whole shoulders to look at something. All right, so again, according to the ECB minutes, interest rates were in broadly neutral territory. Environment remained exceptionally uncertain. Most members viewed risks surrounding inflation outlook as broadly balanced. Several members viewed inflation risks as tilted to the downside, and a few members judged risk to be tilted to the upside. Yeah, we got some other updates to ECB stuff. Nvidia price targets raised by Morgan Stanley, by William Blair. I don't know if GDP's high. I don't know how the market like reacts. All right, we're at 591.20s, 593.20s. I wanted 600. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, it's not that I'm trying to complain about my neck. It's that I have this 49-inch ultra wide monitor, right? And anybody that's had this type of neck pain. And so when I'm scanning the monitor to see for news coming out. Like, it's the worst monitor to have right now, I think. Is it normal if GDP increases but unemployment is also high? It's possible. I wouldn't say it's normal. With FOMC coming as GDP high, I think we drop. That might be the case. I mean, I think the market wants rate cuts, but I think rate cuts are pretty baked in. I don't know if GDP is going to really have that big of an influence on rates. I think the bigger influence on rates is going to be like jobless claims and PCE tomorrow. GDP is relevant, though. We'll see what we get for it. But jobless claims and PCE tomorrow is going to be incredibly important, right? Like PCE inflation data tomorrow is going to be big. You want to watch it. Yeah. I don't know if it'd make the markets rally. GDP at 1.5% versus 3.1% expected would probably make markets drop out of fear of too late of rate cuts, right? Like, there's some influence of GDP. Remember, this is quarter two. This is quarter two GDP. You know, the IMF, Gopinath is speaking. He said, the engagement with the current administration is going well. I do see a small shift on margin and on global dollar use. It's still early days with regards to the dollar's global role. So, again, I'm looking for a short. We're really choppy this morning. I'm surprised we're not seeing bigger moves. Nvidia, again, down, but rebounding this morning. Is basically, it opened up much lower from its earnings report, as you can see here. But it's kind of fighting back here, and it's back up to like 178, almost 179. Gold has been pumping up this morning. Gold up to 34.65, so about to break highs of the day again. Look at gold up here. So gold is certainly moving. Yeah, we'll see if it continues. Yeah, PCE is incredibly important. First world problems, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. GDP, you gotta understand, like GDP is what confirms a recession. And so GDP is gonna matter. I would argue GDP is gonna matter. You have to look at it, you have to watch it. It's lagging, so it's a little bit more delayed. But it matters. It's important. You want to pay attention to it. It's GDP data, you know. Again, we got jobless claims, unemployment today. They have been going up. The trend has been increases in jobless claims. Like, yet last week they expected 225. The previous time was around there, and we came in at 235. This time they're expecting 230, and so we do see some upward trends to unemployment claims. Yeah. Again, gold's been ripping up. It just kind of rejected at this 34.65 high here. NASDAQ is very choppy right now, very choppy. Again, we don't really have that much going on. Yeah, we'll see if Snowflake dropped earnings yesterday, and they went up big on this. Look at Snow. They're kind of correcting back down, but they went all the way to 230 from like 200s. So they are up about 15% from their earnings report for Snow. Look at Snow, up all the way up to 230s. They released yesterday. They had pretty good results. Again, momentum from earnings are going to be in play today. Again, we get up to 600, I'll short this, but I gotta wait for that. Again, GDP second, or is it the second estimate or first estimate today? Hold on. It's the first revision. Yeah. So it is the second estimate, but it's the first revision because it goes initial estimate, first revision, second revision, or final revision. Again, it releases market expects GDP growth around 3.1%, which is slightly higher than the advanced estimate of 3%. Corporate data could add, margins and inflation pressured data. Jobless claims forecasting about 230 to 231,000. Insight into labor markets. Gold is running up ahead of tomorrow. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge is tomorrow. It's called PCE inflation. Core PCE is what you want to pay attention to. You can see gold. Again, here's gold. Gold is running up here. You can see gold running up, but it's having a dip. Maybe it's running up ahead of PCE. Core PCE is expected to show 2.9% year-over-year growth. A strong signal ahead of the Fed's likely rate cut in September. Markets pricing in about 90% chance of that. Overseas markets in Europe and the Gulf are cautious. Focus on economic data maybe, but we had the ECB, the European Central Bank minutes report, come out this morning. Yeah, but PCE is big. We'll see what happens then. All right, guys, we got 45 minutes. We got about 700 here already. We appreciate you guys joining us here today for this. Looking at our poll numbers, 58% said bullish, 42% said bearish. So. Again, JP Morgan, Rosenblatt, Benchmark, Bank of America, and Citi, Jefferies, KeyBank, DA Davidson, and Truist all raised their price target for Nvidia after yesterday's earnings. And so one of the stories that I'm seeing post Nvidia earnings is that analysts are still pretty optimistic here, is what it looks like. Like, they look pretty optimistic with all this stuff. Despite the China revenue and the impacts of all that stuff, it's looking like people are pretty optimistic still, even excluding the China revenue drama. So that's what I'm showing. It doesn't mean we're going to bounce back. You never know. But that's what I'm showing. Yeah, subscribe, hit the like button. We appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of people upgrading Nvidia. Yeah, CBD cream works. All right, NASDAQ is so choppy this morning, though. We're not really moving here. Look at the NASDAQ. We're not doing anything. I want to trade. If we get a bounce to here, maybe here, I'll short. But we're just kind of... And this range is too small to attack. Maybe we'll get a bounce back. I'll take some trades, but I got to wait for it, I think. See, we're rejecting off of this level here, this 597. Like, if you look at it, it was like a previous isolated. One of the things we look at is isolation. And, like, what we mean by isolation is, like, a very clear bottom. And so that's kind of what we're reacting to here, if you look at it. We broke under, rebounded to this level, rejected down, retesting it now. But yeah, we'll see if we hold. Still kind of rejecting that 597 level. Maybe. Might impact gold. I don't know. Quarter 4 pump. Yeah. Holiday pump. Yeah, Friday. Tomorrow's interesting because Monday is Labor Day, so nobody has to, the market's closed, right? I'm pretty sure markets are closed Monday. Get it together, AI. I say markets are closed this Monday, question mark. No, the US stock markets were open on August 25th. Not last Monday, this upcoming Monday. Okay, stock markets will be closed Monday, September 1st in observance of Labor Day. NYSE, NASDAQ bond markets closed as well, September 1st. No pre-market trading, regular or post-market trading on Labor Day. Trading resumes Tuesday morning, following the standard pre-market and trading schedule. So yeah, all markets are closed. We got the bounce back here. Let's see if we short into this. I'm gonna take one position here and then maybe slowly add maybe up to 3 to 4 contracts of micros up to 605. And then we're probably gonna use a risk level of like 608, very small risk. I'd love to add to this, but if not, we'll hold one micro farther. Oh, maybe I should have taken larger position size here, but we just didn't. I mean, we rejected maybe almost exactly where I wanted us to, but I didn't quite get the size in here. We could bounce off of 597s. I'm going to hold this and see if it goes anywhere. Yeah, I mean, guys, like, look, and again, I said this yesterday a lot on the stream. Every single year, you got a bunch of people telling people it's a bubble, it's the end of the world, we're going to crash. And most of the time, I would say we don't. And so you might think we're in a bubble. It doesn't mean we are. Maybe we are. I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, especially in terms of predicting market direction, because that's a risky thing. I get it. People are skeptical, all this other stuff. Okay, we're going to get a chance to add here. Maybe. Didn't really pop up fast enough, but I'll add a little bit more. And so just be careful. We don't necessarily have to crash, have some big bubble correction. People were saying this 3 years ago when we went on a big bull run afterwards. And so just be careful. All right, we're in this. We're green now. See if it breaks all the way down to like 592s. I'll take some profit down at 592s if we get it. Now we'll just hold this and wait. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot more dovish monetary policy starting next month in September. Most likely, at least. Not unless PCE data shows up like at a shocking level. We're probably going to have a more dovish, loose monetary policy, less restrictive. That could stimulate things back up. And as long as we get it early enough, we'll be okay. All right, like I said, we're going to add maybe one more here. Look for 605 to reject is what I'm looking at, but not really a big rejection. I'm definitely not going to add any more to this, I think. It's a big rip up. Although it's still a pretty small trade, which shows that we're ranging pretty small. We're down $15. Very small. This looks like it could be catalyst driven, and so I just have to be careful. I wanted to use a risk again at 608 is what I'm looking at. And all I can do is really follow my previous calculated stop loss. But it's a big move to the upside all of a sudden. I don't know why. I don't know if some news came out that I should be weary of. 60 minutes. Let me pull some up here. I'm not missing anything. Got this really relaxing music in here. Almost too relaxing for the stream, huh? Music. And we looked at yields. We looked at rate cut odds. We'll see what these do. Oh, there it is. We're in there. All right, we're coming back down a little bit right at the 200 exponential. We'll see if we keep this trend. I'm not the most confident here, but it's a pretty small trade so far. $20.29 we crash. Maybe. A little bit too slow. Yesterday's music was good. I appreciate it. Yeah, Nvidia's heading back up here. I don't want to know if I want to short like what all these upgrades today, so I'm going to start covering. We're basically at my stop level anyway. Very small trade, but we're basically Nvidia is running up. I'm looking at it. It's at 179.20s. So we'll see what happens. We start to get over 620s. I might be interested in long. We're kind of in no man's land up here, though. We're right over the 200 exponential, right in the middle of the range. But we'll see if we will hold here. Yeah, we got 35 minutes left. 35 minutes left. Yeah, so crypto.com's Kronos jumps 40% on a deal with the current president and their family. Yeah, hindsight's always 2020. Yeah. It just depends. Like, I think Nvidia's gonna bounce here because of all these upgrades, but right now we are like technically in a shorter term downward trend. So we got down, up, down, and we're putting in higher lows here. You can kind of see the higher lows. So I don't know if I necessarily want to buy this. We are back over the 200 exponential here, though, so we are back over the 200 EMA. Okay, who was it then? To not. Yeah, I look at the Dow occasionally. I don't trade it as much, but it's actually green on the day. No, it's not green. I'm sorry. It's basically the Dow's almost completely flat. Bitcoin's up. Again, Snowflake had a really good earnings report, although it's been dipping down some here. Nvidia's rebounding back up. That's what's driving this. Yeah, I mean, listen, Tibet. Me taking a very small short-term short, you know, it's easy to look at after the trade and say, oh, you know, you should have done this and should have done this. That's usually like a newer trader thing to do. It's all good. On the NASDAQ, I don't really see a double bottom anywhere around where we're at now. I see a big bottom here. We're just attacking the trend. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Ironically, yeah. I'm gonna delete it just so people don't get any promotion out of it. But yeah, the Dow is just less tech heavy. You know, I mean, it's got tech stocks in it, don't get me wrong, but the Dow is less diversified and less tech heavy. That's why people don't watch it anymore. A lot of people watch the NASDAQ, QQQ, is the same thing. Tech, it's much more tech heavy, even than like the S&P 500. People still watch the S&P, but the NASDAQ has more tech stocks in it. And Nvidia is the single largest weighted stock in the market. So I don't know. I call everybody bro. I call my son bro. You know, I call my wife bro half the time. Just a habit, filler word. Yeah, there's always somebody that disagrees. The other day I took a position in Power Hour, and while I was on the show, so many people in chat were like, bro, this is a crazy trade. I can't understand why you're doing this. And then like within 5 minutes, it just pushed up so much. Like it had pushed up so much in 5 minutes in my direction. And then of course, all the people that were so critical were just quiet. And so what you learn is like the loudest are sometimes the newest traders. You know what I mean? The people that are like the most quick to judge and insult the trades are usually the newer traders. Dude. Retail earnings this morning. Yeah, we already had Best Buy. Best Buy BDPSB revenue. So we did have some earnings this morning. Again, Best Buy BDPSB revenue. We got about 30 minutes left. We had Bed Bath and Body Works. Speaking of that, let me post this. Dollar General. Most things beat. Some misses in revenue, though. I'm showing like most beats here, but we had some misses in revenue. All right, look at this rip. We just tapped 621s. We're watching 621s now. We're kind of sideways, so I'm just gonna wait, especially leading into these reports. I'll probably trade something, but yeah, I kind of just gotta wait for a lot of these, I think, too. Yeah, here's all the earnings. Okay, we had Dollar General, BDPS beat revenue. We had Best Buy, BDPS beat revenue. DKS, BDPS beat revenue. TD, BDPS beat revenue. So we're gonna post all these. Maybe I need to get a smaller picture here just to cover. That's better. But most things BDPS. Some things missed revenue though. Yeah, so these include, what else we got? We got DG, Best Buy, DKS. Those are all BDPS and revenue. TD Bank dropped as well. Burlington, BSCO, Bed Bath and Body Works missed revenue. So did TD Bank. The Elder Bear Workshop. I'm surprised they're even still around. Titan. Yeah, hindsight cap. Oh yeah, I will talk somebody out of my trades for sure. You're gonna disagree with some of my trades. That's pretty standard. I mean, it's not a reasonable expectation to think that you're just gonna agree with everything I do. We all have different theses on what's gonna happen next in markets. And listen, you got a 50-50 shot. Maybe you make money, maybe you don't. Gold consolidating now, but look at this rip back up here. Again, Brown Foreman just reported numbers. Apparently there was an attack overseas. People are reacting to. That might be why gold's pushing. Yeah, again, we got jobless claims, unemployment, GDP numbers. Yeah, we'll see how the market reacts. Again, I would say, like, what's going to increase odds of rate cuts is going to be higher jobless claims and weaker GDP. Weaker GDP is not going to do too much, but higher jobless claims will show more weakness in the labor market and more justification, more early signs of labor weakness, right? That should increase odds of rate cuts and decrease yields. No, I didn't see that yet, Pawn. My bad. Let me pull it up. Yeah, we got 25 minutes here. 25 minutes. Yeah, so Mexico is set to join the U.S. with tariffs and will raise duties on Chinese goods under its 2026 plan. Bloomberg reported Wednesday that it's due next month for the proposal. It targets cars, textiles, and plastics. Berkshire Hathaway boosted its stake in Mitsubishi, further increasing a long-standing bet on Japanese trading houses. Increased its stake from 10.2 from 9.7. Five Below raised its 5-year outlook. There's full-year outlook. Again, Ford Motor Company did a recall. If I can find my phone on, I'll send that right now. But NASDAQ still popping up though, over 620s. We'll look at some new levels here. But yeah. All right, guys. Hey, 23 minutes left. ECB minutes says a non-incremental meeting provided a non-incremental set of accounts. Again, let me know in chat right now what you guys think is going to happen here. Higher jobless claims, lower jobless claims. Yeah, Bitcoin up to 113 today. Nvidia rebounding back up, and this is what's driving this. Nvidia's having a bull run. Maybe I could buy a pullback to like 610, 615, but I'd need a larger pullback to like 615. I'll buy a dip to 615. I think that makes sense. 615 dip, I think, you know, we should have enough room. This is too thin. I don't know if there's enough meat on this move here if I buy this 621 level, although I do think it's probably a stronger support level. I do think it's a strong support level, but there's not enough meat on that move. I'd like 615s here maybe. I wouldn't hate that if we got it. You think AMD will ever be up there with Nvidia? Maybe. I don't know. All right, we're getting a pullback. Let's see if 621 bounces here. We still got over 20 minutes left. I think AMD is obviously gaining ground on Intel specifically in terms of processors. All right, look, here's 621. Like I said, this is actually a stronger support level. There's just not enough meat on that move to take it. It's a continuation play if Nvidia keeps rebounding. I don't know. Nvidia is more diversified in their GPUs, at least. I like AMD processors though, you know. I like the Ryzen series processors. Yeah, so we did bounce a little bit at 621. Gold just broke highs of the day again. It's at 34.65. Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's got a pretty I'm sorry, my neck hurts. Nvidia's got a pretty big head start on Nvidia's got a pretty big head start on everybody else, especially like in terms of their GPUs, you know. So I don't think anybody's gonna be touching Nvidia, especially in GPUs, for a while. All right, so here's that pullback. Look, we might buy 615 if we get it. It's gonna be small though. GeForce processor, so I made kind of the stock pump. Yeah, I mean, you could take that credit. We're looking for 615s. We need to dip down, though. I don't know if we're going to get it, but we're looking for it. You get NASDAQ kind of coming down with Nvidia a little bit here. But Nvidia's still on a pretty nice little run. Yeah, AMD's incredibly expensive in terms of price to earnings. Yeah, 100%. I agree. All right, we're at 618s. I'm going to start to take a little position here. 2 contracts. We'll maybe add up to 6 in this. There's 4. I'm only going to add actually 5. I think 5 is fine. There we go. All right, we'll give it a second. All right, we're flat. Let's see if we catch a bounce here. We got less than 20 minutes before jobless claims, unemployment, and GDP data comes out. And that's an important report. Jobless claims, I think, is a little bit more important. All right, we're slightly green here. Look at that candle. Interesting. Just because we were immediately went in the opposite direction, I'm going to take like a piece of this off. Make it really small. I don't mind a bounce here, but I got to give it some time. We're basically flat on the trade now. And in order for me to give it enough time, I should probably reduce some size. I think by mistake, I didn't quite wait for 615 and I should have. It still looks fine, but we're flat now. We'll see what happens. GDP data is Q2 GDP first revisions. First time they're revising the initial estimate they put out last month. Last time they came in at 3%. Today they're expected to increase that to 3.1%. All right. Now that's not really going to influence rate odds unless it comes in like big over or under, in my opinion. Big over or under. Now jobless claims is different. Jobless claims unemployment has the ability to influence rate odds. If it comes in shockingly high, that's bad for the labor market. That shows weakness, more justification in rate cuts. Will probably make yields go down if jobless claim shows up high, like higher than expected. More people filing for unemployment is what high jobless claims means. If jobless claims is low, it means less people filing for unemployment, which is a more optimistic look at the labor market, of course. And so, yeah, most of this is running off of Nvidia. You can see Nvidia start to push here, but it's volatile right now, to be honest. It's kind of going back and forth and back and forth. Not really easy to make money here, I think. Nvidia is pushing up a little bit as we speak too. Nvidia's up to almost 179.68. The Nasdaq's actually falling down. Let's see if there's a reason for it. Let me check. We had some foreign stuff come out this morning. Pending home sales rise 2% as mortgage rates sit at lowest level in 10 months, according to Redfin. So again, pending home sales showed up at 2%. Mortgage rates sit at lowest level in 10 months, according to Redfin. I've been trying to take longer term, smaller trades, is what you see me doing here. But honestly, this morning we're just getting chop. I don't know if the market's waiting for GDP and jobless claims in 15 minutes. It's possible. I don't want to get stuck in too bear of action here, so I'm just going to cut this, I think. And we're down a little bit. We took a swing, but we're not really holding in any direction. We've gone up and then down, you know. And so we'll see what happens, but it's a choppy market we're getting stuck in. I would assume we get more volatility from Nvidia earnings yesterday, but it didn't take into account the hot dog, the greatest signal of all time. The hot dog signal. Yeah, I'm gonna just withhold trading probably. I'll probably trade on a different account now too. This is just difficult to make money in for me. I like looking for trends. We might bounce right here too, but it's too much risk. Yeah. The market doesn't go straight up all day. We're dropping. Yeah, so far we've shown chop. Like, we're just kind of sideways today. We're not really doing anything. It's just kind of boring, you know. Markets are trying to hold, but not really doing too much. Nvidia rebounded some though, and again, I think there's an optimistic like way to be about Nvidia right now, even with the China revenue. A lot of upgrades for Nvidia. So maybe pullbacks are going to get bought up, but you think we'll chop all week? Maybe into PCE data. We could chop. A reason to sell into September. Maybe the September slump is here. Maybe it's not. If we cut rates in September, do you think that's going to cause a slump? Dude, even if I like... Ugh. Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, my neck is genuinely... genuinely hurting. All right, now the Nasdaq started to test lows here, or not in the lows, but under the 200 EMA. See if that holds or what, but yeah, we have 12 minutes left until GDP and jobless claims are out. 12 minutes, guys. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. Tomorrow we have PCE inflation, which is actually a much bigger report. Yeah, we got 12 minutes. Give me your reasons, bull or bear. Looking at our poll number, 60% are bullish on this report, 40% are bearish. Are you bullish or bearish on this report? We go straight up today until tomorrow. Maybe. I think I see optimism from AI this morning versus like fears. But you never know. Like analysts could upgrade Nvidia a bunch and then market could turn to the downside. People might argue we're extended too. You never know. So be careful. Best Buy CEO expects vendor labor investment to be about 20% higher than last year in the second half. Nasdaq is now flushing down here. It's mostly Nvidia getting driven down. So, kind of just a sideways movement today. Seasonality still has time. Yeah. I'll try it, Boris. If you want rate cuts, you want cooler GDP and higher jobless claims. Yes, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what we're going to get, but love you. Sorry, my neck hurts today. I love you. Have a good day at school. All right, guys. Watch 600. Here's 600 level. Gold's still pushing up. No, it's not screens. It's probably from training jiu-jitsu yesterday. Probably. All right, look at the Nasdaq just break down here. All right, guys. So, my neck hurts, but we're back. We're testing 600 right now. Look, there's 600. See if we get anything good. Nasdaq and everything's been flushing down here, though. Nvidia's starting to bounce a little bit, though. We're starting to see some strength here. We'll see if we continue back up. We got 9 minutes left here. 9 minutes left. Core wave is soaring. I'm not going to use a chiropractor. I'm not a big believer in chiropractors. No offense to you, if you're one. Yeah, I'm just not the big believer in chiropractors. No offense. All right, ahead of jobless claims unemployment, we are dipping down drastically here. We bounced that back up to 605. Let's see if that level holds or not. Gold's still breaking highs over and over again. No, nobody really. I don't think I tapped at all yesterday. And I rolled with like 5 or 6 different people, but I'm pretty sure what did it, I rolled with a wrestler. It was a white belt wrestler, but this dude was like 210 and he wrestled. And those are always trouble, you know. And I'm pretty sure he tried to break my guard by just kind of like stacking me. It didn't work, but now my neck hurts. So maybe I should have just let it happen. You know? I've never really been a believer at chiropractors. Like, listen, I'm not against them. But I'm not going to pay for them either. Every time I go there, they tell me I need to keep going back and all this different stuff. Look at this drop. Wow. Quick drop all of a sudden in the NQ. Again, this is Nvidia volatility. Nvidia is just volatile right now, man. Nvidia is just volatile. We rejected right there at 605s. It could be anticipation for jobless claims. We got 6 minutes left. I don't know if it's insider information. I'm not really seeing anything leak right now. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything leak at this point in time, to be honest. I don't see any big news coming out. This is just volatility ahead of GDP and jobless claims. Again, we got about 5 minutes left. About 5 minutes left. The NASDAQ has gone up big and then completely filled that gap and gone down big. We're not trending at all at this point in time. And it's just kind of chopping, faking people out, I think. Maybe we'll get some more liquidity from... maybe we'll get some more liquidity from this economic report we got in 5 minutes. All right, look at this bounce. We're bouncing right here. 597s, 598s. Gold's been pushing up. Again, we do have some instability news in the overseas and the conflicts overseas in the East. Do you think stagflation is likely? I think we've seen signs of stagflation recently. We've seen high inflation and weak labor. That's generally what a lot of people are going to consider stagflation. So I think we've seen the signs of it. Doesn't mean we're fully in there, but you know, one report doesn't necessarily confirm it. We need multiple reports to confirm it. You know, like, again, if we get this, if the labor report next week and PCE tomorrow shows high inflation and weak labor, that'll all but confirm we're at least showing some stagflation signs. Right, stagflation is an economic state in which we have high inflation and a weak labor market simultaneously. It usually precedes a recession. So just for everybody at home, if you want to understand what stagflation means, that's what it means. Yeah, gold's been pushing up. Yeah, I'd let them mess with my knees and my arms and my shoulders. I don't really want them to mess with my neck in terms of chiropractors. So you got good chiropractors, but some of them are just not good. You know? And they're risky. All right, guys, 3.5 minutes left. All right, guys, we're at 597. Still downward trending here. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. As a chiropractor, I approved your take. Hey, all good. All right, guys. Here we go. It's time. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you put it in 2x speed. Get the alerts as soon as they drop. Again, put it in 2x speed. Get the alerts as soon as they drop. Again, we got 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. We'll see what this data shows. 2 minutes left, really. I'm sorry, 2 minutes. Hit the live button. You put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up with us and watch this live release. Again, Redfin reported pending home sales. I think they were a little bit weaker than expected. NASDAQ still breaking down ahead of this report. Does big money know something that we don't? Is the question here. Again, jobless claims expected at 231, roughly 230. Anywhere between 230 and 231. GDP data expected to be revised up 0.1% from 3% previously to 3.1% now for GDP. We'll see what that looks like. See what it looks like. A minute and 20 seconds, chat. All right, guys, we got a minute and 10 seconds. All right, 1 minute. 1 minute left. Choppy NASDAQ ahead of this report. Choppy. We'll see if we hold. All right, 40 seconds. I mean, I'm not looking for anything. They both have their own set of risks. Stronger numbers here. This timer's early, don't worry. Stronger numbers means more risks of inflation in terms of, like, a stronger labor market means potentially more inflation risks. A weaker labor market means more recession risks. And I don't think the market necessarily wants either of those two things. And so I think we're somewhere in the middle right now in terms of this data. All right, guys, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We got about 2,000 watchers here. We appreciate it. Here we go. Jobless claims expected at 230 to 231. About 5 seconds left. Hit the live button. Put it in 2x speed. And here's the report. 3, 2, 1. And here's the report. Okay, guys. GDP showed 3.3% stronger than expected. 3.3% GDP stronger than expected. Noticeably stronger than expected. Still waiting on the jobless numbers, but GDP showed 3.3%. GDP 3.3%. Again, GDP quarter two, 3.3% right now, 3.3%. Jobless claims ended up showing 229K, lower than expected. Both of these things showed stronger than expected economic and labor market data. Again, GDP quarter two, jobless claims, 229K versus 230K expected. So, and then previously of 235K. Let's see if this is good. It makes the market hold. .3% versus 3% expected. The market ended up liking this data. It showed a stronger labor market, maybe potentially less stagflation than expected. 229 versus 230 expected. Last time they showed up at 234, 235. Again, GDP at 3%, 3.3% versus 3% expected. All stronger than expected, chat. Now, the NASDAQ and the S&P are reacting very favorably to this. Look at Nvidia shoot up on this report. Very interesting here. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move here, but this is a big move on the upside. Let's see if we hold. NASDAQ's running up on this report. I mean, we could retrace all the way back down. It's possible. It's rare, but it happens. Let's see what happens. Again, jobless claims were mostly flat, but GDP showed up at 3.3%. It's very good. Very good. Look at that bounce right here at 620s, right at our level here. We'll put this data up on screen. Again, better than expected data here in terms of labor and economics. Better than expected. Jobless claims, 229. GDP 3.3%. Both of these were better than the expected numbers here for this report. Both of these were noticeably better. Put this up on screen. Sorry, I got a lot of screens here so I can watch this data as soon as it comes out for you guys. Let's take a look at yields and rate odds after we post this to the screen here. Let's take a look at yields and rate odds. Yields, 85% right now, a little bit lower now, which is understandable. I mean, this is going to make yields go up most likely because we have less. If the labor report's strong, we have less need to cut rates, and so this means less of a need to cut rates. Stronger labor market. Nvidia is said to be in talks with the U.S. to sell Blackwell AI chips to China, according to some news sources. That might be propelling the market higher, despite all this stuff as well. Again, GDP data, 3.3% for second revision or first revision. Here's the data release on screen. You can see it. Bottom, scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Yields, I'm sure, are going to be up a little bit. I don't even need to look at them, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be higher now. Spiking up because this is a stronger economy than expected, right? A stronger labor market. And yeah, if you look at yields, as I said, yields are up and elevated from this report. Again, we do have some breaking news for Nvidia right now, though. Again, Nvidia is said to be in talks with the U.S. to sell Blackwell chips to China. That's great news. That's great news. According to sources. Yeah, so Nvidia CEO Huang says he's in talks with the current administration about selling his better Blackwell AI chips to China, and he's willing to give the U.S. government a cut of those sales. Plus, he wants U.S. tech to be like the U.S. dollar, the global standard, according to Fox. This is the news. So this is Nvidia news right now that's driving markets higher. Just to put this into perspective, this is Nvidia news driving markets higher. We'll see if this is an overreaction here. I think he decided to use the GDP data and all this stuff to help drive it. Let's see. Again, Nvidia now in talks with the U.S. government, says they're talking to the U.S. government about selling Blackwell chips to China, is what this news is. That's what's driving this. See if they continue, of course. But that's what's going on right now, essentially. Yeah, better economy means less likelihood of rate cuts. Rate cut odds already went down to about 85%. So I appreciate the love. Again, if you want to help support the channel, hit the subscribe button. We cover everything live as soon as it happens. Tomorrow we have PCE inflation data. Incredibly important release. Incredibly important release for tomorrow. PCE inflation data tomorrow live. Look at this bounce right here at 621s, and we're going to cover it like we did today as soon as it drops. As soon as it drops live, we got you guys. We're going to cover PCE data 8:30. Stick around. We're going to trade the open live. Had some trouble trading today. We did buy some of this in the previous account, made a little bit of money here in the previous account, the 620 level. But the more we retest this level, the less confident I am. It also is going to depend on what Nvidia does here. See what Nvidia does. You know, if Nvidia gets Blackwell chips unlocked in China, that's great news, of course. Alright, in our other account, we actually took a couple trades here. I could show you this. We're up about 20 ticks right now. We already scaled out of 3 micros. And we'll hold the rest break even here. A little free trade. We'll see if it keeps pushing up, though. It's going to depend on Nvidia, though. Nvidia is the one moving this. Again, I think GDP is important. You know, stronger economy, less people filing for unemployment is what the data showed, and you can see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But I think the Nvidia Blackwell chip sales to China overseas, and they're willing to work with the U.S. government on Blackwell chips, is making Nvidia go up right now, and that's driving the rest of the market higher. Here is what's going on. That's what's happening right now. All right, nice. We're gonna go ahead and cut that right there. All right, so we're out. We limited out of it right there. I like the bounce. I don't like it necessarily anymore. I think we bounced at 621s a little bit too much. Yeah. And again, if you haven't already, check out Top Steps Funded Account Program. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, but genuinely useful. It makes no sense to fund your own account day trading in the beginning. You're probably going to lose it. So why fund thousands into an account just to lose it, trying to look cool? Instead, try a funded account program. It's cheaper, and you learn how to trade with some risk. You're risking something, what you pay for the subscription. Base one on Top Steps, $50 a month. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split, and you get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in, which is similar to funding your own account. If you fail, you lose $50. It's much better risk management in the beginning when most day traders lose anyway, and it just makes sense to learn in that environment. I think a structured environment just makes sense. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, but that's the way to learn. And in the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. Very similar to day trading stocks in terms of patterns a lot of the time. And I'll put the link up. But again, I'm biased. I get paid by them. So top 3 most biased ever. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Here's the link. You want to confirm it all with them? Can't guarantee anything. NASDAQ's still pushing here. Nvidia's still pushing, trying to go green on the day potentially. So the previous closing price on Nvidia is at 181.62. I don't know if this means there's no need to cut. One weekly jobless claims report doesn't justify that, and GDP gains for quarter 2. Remember, guys, this is quarter 2 GDP. So GDP is lagging. This is quarter 2 GDP. So the way they do it is that we look at the previous quarter. We're in quarter 3 right now. And so this is the previous GDP for the last quarter. And one weekly jobless claims report, which was mostly flat, by the way, I don't think means we're not going to cut next month. I don't think it's big enough of a beat in order to just say, oh, the labor market's fine. Personally, right? It's subjective, but personally, I don't think this report is strong enough for the current economy, as well as the labor report revisions that we've seen, to mean that. All right, Nvidia pushing up towards these highs, or this previous closing price at 181.60. Watch 650 right here. 650 is right about there. Watch that. Might be a level. Again, the algos are mostly reacting to the Nvidia news, I think, here. Is what I think this is. I think this is mostly markets reacting to Nvidia. Again, I think this is mostly markets reacting to Nvidia. Again, Nvidia said they're willing to give the U.S. government a cut of China chip sales. Yeah, we're still 85% to 15% chance. All right, so we're over 650. Nvidia's still pushing up here. Still pushing up. Nvidia at 181.30s. Trying to go green on the day. Let's see if it does. 660 might be a level 2, but markets are running here. All right, we tap 650. Let's see if we hold here. Yeah, Bitcoin's been running back up a little bit today. It's back up to like 112s, which is good. 113s. Let's see if it continues up. Do y'all think Bitcoin rebounds over the next couple weeks into September? Oh, dude. All right, guys. So we ripped all the way up to 650s. Let's see if we dip now. Gold pulled back some, and gold's been breaking highs all morning. Yeah, options are risky. I mean, there's too much restriction on them. Like, you gotta understand, you can't sell options until the opening bell. And so people who got in put options yesterday and thought Nvidia would be red are probably underwater right now in terms of profits. That's why I always try to tell people, like, people are so polarized to one side. Like, if Nvidia dips a little bit, people are like, oh, it's the end of the world, Nvidia's gone. And Nvidia's down like 1 to 2% on an earnings report, which is not very much. But again, people like to sensationalize things to get attention, and I get it. But yeah. We'll see if there's a pullback at the open. It's possible we do. Again, I don't know. I think Nvidia wants to test this green level, though. It doesn't mean it will. But I'm more interested in buying up stuff right now. Might buy a pullback here if we get one. Need to wait until maybe 640s is what I would like. 640s, maybe 637s. And I think this time I'm going to actually wait for it. Last time I got in a tad too early. Yeah, I mean, September historically, September historically is red, but it doesn't mean it's not absolute. And that's what people have to understand. Like, people look at it like, oh, we're going to go down in September. And maybe we do. September averages about a 1% decrease in the stock market, but that doesn't mean it's never green. You know, sometimes we have really strong Septembers and it traps a lot of shorts. And so you don't want to be too weighted on either side, even with September being historically bearish. It's not my back at all. It's my neck. I slept on my stomach accidentally last night when I was sleeping, and woke up. Could be from jiu-jitsu yesterday, but all right. So here we're gonna start to add to our positions now. Again, I'm looking for maybe 37s here. We got 2 contracts. We'll see if we get a bounce. There's 37s. We got an initial bounce here. All right, we got a little green. Take a little piece off up there just to protect the trade. And we'll give it time now. I thought this is where Nvidia would make its second push up to test the previous closing price up there, but you never know. We had some good trades that showed up here, but I think we've managed it well enough to where we're basically flat right now. Dude, I swear, some days are just terrible. Like, dude, I feel like every time I jump in a trade today, it just dumps to the other side. Which I'm probably about to cut it right now. Again, it's pretty small trades. And we ended up making more money from the report itself when it came out. We went long. But, a little bit better. I'm going to cut half of this here. because we're not down much of anything now. We got one micro contract, so it's still very small. How confident are we that the Fed ends quantitative tightening in September? Not confident at all. If they cut 25 basis points in September, I doubt they're going to end quantitative tightening as well. I think they'll continue that a little bit longer. But I don't know for sure. 50% of the time, 80% of the time, it works every time. 30% of the time, it works every time. Maybe. But no, today's just weird. Like, it looks like they're looking for liquidity levels and then just dumping it the other way, which is strange. I'm looking for Nvidia. Nvidia's been the volatile one, though. You know, it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Big money got baked into that quote coming out, and now, you know, they're selling. It's possible for sure. Although we're basically break even on this last trade here. We haven't really lost much. That's good, I guess. But we got one micro contract, so it's very small. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Blaze. Gold falling all the way back down though here, maybe showing optimism. Again, we've got our little micro contract we're trying to see what we can get with, but it doesn't look good necessarily here. I blame Nvidia right here. Maybe the bell will give us better movement. Tomorrow's PCE data, so it's very possible. I'm just going to cut it here and get out. It was mostly flat. I think we lost like $22 there. So just to clarify, very small, very small. I tried, I swung, I missed. And maybe we're going to bounce right here at my exit and just eat my liquidity. That's fine. Yeah, gold ran up all morning into the data and then dumped now. So. Yeah, and as long as you can manage risk on the bad days, it's fine. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I just don't want to take too much positions. We're actually up a little bit still from when the GDP report came out. We're still red on the day, but we made a lot of it back when GDP came out and PCE and Nvidia news. We ended up buying and just riding it up at 621s right here. We ended up buying this pullback and it went up fast afterwards. We lost a little bit to this dip, but I still think there's a chance it bounces here. I'm just not having good accuracy today, so. How bad will that impact September rate cuts? Not bad necessarily. Tomorrow's PCE data is much more important, and then next week's labor report is going to be much more important than, you know, a lot of this stuff. So it depends on what you consider like influential here. Like again, PCE data tomorrow is big because that's the Fed's preferred inflation metric. Again, GDP is not really going to move it that much. Jobless claims were mostly flat, and so jobless claims being flat and GDP being stronger is not really going to move rate odds, in my opinion. I don't think we get a 50 basis point cut. I think it's too ambiguous what we should do right now, especially in terms of the data, at least according to the Fed. And so I don't think we're going to get a 50 basis point cut at all. Yeah, see, there's the bounce back up. I'm going to switch accounts just so I don't end up hurting this account too much. But like I said, I thought we might bounce exactly where we bounced. Right where I cut it. Worst exit ever, but it's okay. Hey, thank you, Drop. Appreciate it. You're supporting my water bill. Yeah, I don't think it was the data that moved markets. I think the Nvidia Blackwell chip news is what like drove this down. I think the Nvidia Blackwell news is what made the market rip, and now it's making the market pull back. Just buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. I definitely think they're using people's like liquidity zones against them today, though. A lot, so just be careful. It's a lot of volatility, I guess I'll call it. We got the 8 a.m. scrum or the 9 a.m. scrum happening in about 7 minutes. Yeah, data could change. Certainly could change. Could certainly change. All right, here's Nvidia still trying to make that test up here for the previous closing price. See if it holds. Good Snowflake come back down. They reported earnings. Gold's still falling down here. We're kind of getting chopped. We don't have any other data today, do we? I don't think so. We got pending home sales, but Redfin already kind of reported that. But yeah, thank you for the donations, guys. I appreciate it. Odds for a rate cut next month are 85%. As of now, 85% likely. Unless they've changed in the last 10 minutes. Which they could have. Let's see. You look at yields to gauge. Yeah, they're 85.15 right now for rate cut odds. 25 basis point cut has 85% chance likelihood as of now. Again, it is subject to change. Nvidia did 0 H2O chip sales to China during Q2, but posted a record $46.7 billion in revenue. Also had its strongest EPS quarter ever. Nvidia still saw $2.8 billion in revenue from China despite the H2O sales coming to a halt. So there's some optimism to be had there. And again, there's Nvidia's push towards this previous closing price. We actually did trade the other account. Sometimes I'll trade it in the background because it's easier to manage. We did get into some good trades here, and we're actually net green. See this? We ended up buying it again, being stubborn down here, and it looked like that was a good buy. Cut it pretty quick, but good trade nonetheless. I don't know if it's scary, it's important. PCE data tomorrow is very important. The Florida governor is seeking to wipe out property taxes there. Honestly, I'm not very political, but I am absolutely supportive of getting rid of property tax. Property taxes are absolutely ridiculous, bro. When did we let property taxes get this out of freaking control? And even the assessed value is getting more strict. Like, they're assessing the value, like historically assessed value, which is what they assess to be the value of your property to pay taxes on. It's taxable value. Historically, assessed value is generally lower than the market value of your home. I've seen some wild valuations over the last year. So now the assessed value is high. They're just beating people up with property taxes. If an old lady buys a house in 1950 and it appreciates to $500,000, you're really going to make her pay all that money, over 10 grand a year in property taxes? That's freaking ridiculous. Let her sit at home on a rocking chair, bro. You know? Don't freaking make her pay all that ridiculous money for nothing, you know? And I hear people say, oh, well, local taxes are, you know, used to support local amenities. Sure, but we're already taxed enough. We don't need to be taxed more. You know, we got enough tax money getting thrown into the system there. We're triple taxed here. You know? Ridiculous. Like, do you ever really own your house then? If you got to pay 10 grand in taxes just to upkeep it. I don't even know if it's 10. Let's do the math. If you own a $500,000 property and you got to pay 2.2%, Yeah, 11 grand a year. Ridiculous. Now, let's say you get lucky and your property appreciates to 700,000. 15 grand a year, almost $16,000 a year just in property taxes. That's wild. Considering your income tax as well, it's crazy. Yeah, duplex makes sense. They call it house hacking. You buy a duplex, you live on one half, you put tenants in the other, they pay your bills. You get a free house, basically, kind of. It's not free, you're still probably losing a little bit of money, but it's certainly not as much as it would be. All right, guys, so Nvidia went green on the day and then came right back down here. Right back down. Yeah, the rental market's not easy right now. Not easy at all. All right, so then Nasdaq's pulling back. We rejected right here at 650s. Depends on whether you think Nvidia is going to make another push up here. Yeah, I mean, I get it. One of my issues with Texas, it's not even my issue with Texas because it kind of balances out a little bit. But there's no state income tax in Texas, which is good. You still got to pay federal income tax, which is ridiculous, you know. But one of my issues with Texas is that people always like to bring up that Texas doesn't have any state income taxes. But if you look at the mortgage rates in Texas versus the rest of the country, they're freaking high here. So they make it back. Yeah, my mom is getting old too. I get it, man. I really do. Jack Daniels maker Brown Forman post quarterly sales beat. Yeah, they posted. I saw this earlier. They posted. They posted 36 cents versus 37 cents. They actually missed EPS by 1 cent. Revenue of 924. They expected 905. So they beat revenue. But this was posted, I think. When was this? I don't know when this was. This was at 8 a.m. Or at 7 a.m. Sorry. Or no, this was posted at 8 a.m. market time. Yeah. Would you rather own 3 Bitcoin or $300,000 apartment that brings in $1,500 a month? I don't know, bro. I think the numbers are a little bit better than that, but I would rather own the $300,000 apartment. Then I could refinance it and buy Bitcoin if I want, you know, and I could buy 4 or 5 Bitcoin or whatever. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'd only own 3 Bitcoin, but point is, you can kind of get both. Maybe I'm cheating here, but the benefit of real estate is that it's mostly consistent and that property values tend to increase over time. Bitcoin makes big swings on the upside and downside, so it's harder to leverage, but I think Bitcoin's going to go up over time, and I hold Bitcoin, by the way, but it's certainly more volatile, and you know. You can probably net 1,500, maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, PCE data, wholesale inventory data tomorrow. The market's kind of chopping sideways. We got 25 minutes here, guys, until the market opens. Maybe we'll get something good. All right, we're very choppy, man. We haven't really done anything here, guys. Like, the market has done this, you know? And so this is the market right now. It's not really doing anything. It's basically chopping sideways. Kind of boring. Also, make sure you give me a follow at Beginner Trades on x.com, at Beginner Trades. We do this live for free. We don't sell a course, don't sell a service. Here's the link. It's a Twitter link, but give us a follow there. There's the link. We cover all the stuff, all the breaking news when it happens. You can give me a follow and watch it as it drops. Post earnings results, all this stuff. Inverted hammer, maybe. I mean, again, the question is, does Nvidia make another push to go green on the day? That's the question. And I don't know. I don't know what we do. Gold's still falling down here. Gold's still weak. Yeah, so Mark Cuban has said some stuff about media, and I absolutely agree with Cuban in this context. He said media has changed forever. He said AI has made it easier for creators to launch media companies without relying on third-party companies. And as somebody that has a marketing and media company, he's absolutely right. Right? Big networks are not going to be able to compete with everybody else in this stage. Too expensive. Our margins, you know, obviously they make more money, but they've been around for 50, 60 years. At this point in time, Media is risky. The nature of media has changed. People don't watch TV almost ever. People don't watch the news as much anymore. They still watch it, but it's gone social. It's on social media now. And I think they'll continue to lose numbers unless something big changes. Yeah, again, I talked about it a lot before Nvidia's release, but expectations were way too high. Even though they beat EPS revenue, good guidance, they still dropped. Expectations were just too high. Here's another push up. Let's see what Nvidia does now, though. Legacy media, that is, right? Legacy media, yeah. Hey, what's up, Sam? All good. What are things in today's market that you think are going to happen and why? I have no idea what's going to happen today. No idea what we're going to get today. Genuinely no idea. Nobody does. Like, we can guess, but I don't think it's easy to predict the story of the day. Anyway, we see Nvidia rebounding and resurging back up. I have a slight bullish bias, but I really don't know. I don't know what we're going to get, how the market's going to behave. I don't know any of this, but we will see. But yeah. All right, so I think I did my poll already. Let's do another poll. I don't think I've done one yet. Are you a market open bull or bear? All right, guys, are you a market open bull or bear? Let me know right now. Would you ever put money into meme stocks? Maybe. It would not be much money, but it would, maybe. I wouldn't put a lot of money in them. All right, we're still rejecting right around 650, 648. The data is bearish in what regard? How is the data bearish? Shows a stronger labor and economy than expected for Q2 especially. It means less need to cut rates, but remember, this is lagging data, right? So this is data that looks at Q2. Jobless claims is not as lagging. It's week to week. But I gotta turn my head a little bit here. I'm kind of stretching my neck here. The other way. Up. Down. Oh, alright. That's better. Alright, loosened it up a little bit. Oh, man. Alright, guys. Hey, we got 20 minutes. 20 minutes until the market opens. Yeah, looking at our poll so far, we're pretty split. 100 votes, 53% say bull, 47% say bear. No, I honestly never use ibuprofen. The only time I use ibuprofen or acetaminophen is if I have like a high fever. Outside of that, I almost never use them. I just don't use them. I don't notice any difference, you know. What's up, Rich? 3.3% shows a much stronger GDP than expected for the US. Yeah. about the overall market over the coming weeks, because in the past rate cuts are bearish and U.S. government has a lot of loans to renew and a lot of uncertainty about the SPY and NASDAQ almost never down. Yeah, a lot of talk of a bubble. We've seen that. Again, tomorrow's PCE data is going to be important. Next week's labor report on Friday is going to be important. We're supposed to also have Goldman Sachs thinks we're going to have a quarterly. Let me make sure. All right, let me see. I'm asking, I think we get a quarterly revision of the labor report. If so, I think that's bad. I don't think it's necessarily going to be good, but you never know. Apple pushing up. Nvidia went green for a little while, and now it's down. Property tax just rising too much. All right, guys. So starting to move back up. Let's see if Nvidia makes another bounce here. We got 15 minutes left. Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good. Market is greedy. It's been tough to make money. No, nothing else really came out. Not that I see here. Lisa Cook is suing the president over his move to oust her from the Fed board. So Lisa Cook suing president. Again, Governor Cook says they're going to sue the U.S. president over his move to remove her from the Fed board, according to Bloomberg. Again, we had earnings today. DG, Dollar General, BDPSB revenue. Best Buy, BDPSB revenue. DKS, BDPSB revenue. TD, BDPS missed revenue. Some others. But mostly good results. Some misses in revenue, though. Good margins, but misses in revenue. 650 seems like a level. 648 is one we had on our chart previously. I assumed I meant 650, but looking in hindsight, we've been reacting to 648 here. But we'll see if the market moves this. 13 minutes left. Yeah, the Jensen Blackwell news, I think, is compensating for, is boosting. Like, I think it came out right when GDP and jobless claims came out. And so, but I think the Nvidia Blackwell chip news, specifically the news is that Nvidia said they spoke with, hold on, let me find it. I posted this to my X page. Nvidia said to be in talks with the U.S. government to sell the Blackwell AI chips to China, according to Fox News. They're also okay with giving a percentage of the sales of the revenue to it, like another royalty type of thing. So that Blackwell optimism in China is making markets push back up. It's made Nvidia rebound back up. Gold's starting to bounce back up a little bit. How did Best Buy beat? They're too expensive and have nothing. From somebody that, like, look, I'm going to tell you how it goes most of the time. People, unless you're like and I'm going to preface this, no offense here. I'm a hardware nerd myself. But unless you're a hardware nerd, if you want to buy a computer Most of the time, you're either going to Apple, but if you don't feel like going to the mall and you want a more chill place to do it, you're just going to go to Best Buy, right? You buy a PC, you buy a laptop. NASDAQ's pushing up here. Look at the NASDAQ push up. A lot of people don't want to order that stuff. It's too risky to order. There's just too much stuff coming through. So I think like electronics is an area where there's still a lot of resilience from mail order shipping dynamic changes like we've seen with Amazon.com where people order things online. I think people still like ordering, or people still like going buy things like computers and hardware at the store itself. At least I do. I know a lot of other people do. They care less about price. After a certain income level, they care less about price, like the small nuances of price differences. But not always. Well, this is all generalized statement, Robert. If I say generally the market goes up, and then somebody says, nah, bro, this one time in 1987, market went down. I would say, well, yeah, but generally... It's generally. Alright, guys. NASDAQ is pushing up right now, though. Let's see if we hit 660s. Yeah, this is Apple driving this move that I'm showing here. I see Apple moving up. I see Google moving up a little bit, but this is mostly Apple. Nvidia's up a little bit as well as Apple and Nvidia, but don't spam. You spam, you're immediately going to get banned. Again, Apple and Nvidia pushing up. Will Nvidia try to go green on the day? We got 9 minutes left. South Korea's BitPlanet launches country's first institutional Bitcoin treasury firm, starting with $40 million Bitcoin purchase. Again, Lisa Cook suing the president over his attempted oust of her from the Fed board. Xfinity brings Netflix, Disney Plus, and Apple TV together in one plan. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Again, we got 9 minutes. I'm kind of flat on the day. It's not like I'm down that big, but... Alright, guys. We still got 1,000 here. I appreciate you guys being here. Y'all hear about Gable Stevenson dropping out of CJI? Some of you guys, this is going to be too obscure in jiu-jitsu for you to understand this. Alright, chat. We're still pushing up almost to 660s now. Nvidia looks like it's going to make a retest. Here's the previous close at 181.60. Nvidia at 181, so we're 60 cents away from green for Nvidia. We'll be green if we hit that level. All right, we're up to almost 660s. Nvidia pull it back a little bit. Gold pushing up some ahead of the opening bell here. Dollar General expects to expand DoorDash partnership to 16,000 stores by the year end. Yeah, but if you use a DoorDash, the margins are going to be terrible, no? Maybe I'm just bearish on Dollar General. Long term, I'm bearish. Short term, I don't know what it's going to do. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Dollar General thrives. I can't imagine it does as the internet and mail order shipping becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. Short term, it could do anything. But long term, who knows what this is going to freaking do. I think it's going to go down. I think it's going to lose interest, lose value. Yeah. I'm going to trade after the bell. I don't think I'm going to take a position 5 minutes before the open. That just doesn't make much sense. I've already traded a bunch of different times. But, DG will increase prices. Yeah, but then nobody's going to buy from them. Not really. Maybe they do. I don't know. All right, Apple like caving down a little bit here. We're at 231s now. Less than 5 minutes here before the opening bell. Let's see what we get. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Thanks for showing up today. Hey, we need only about 250 subscribers to 165K. Help me get there. We're getting close. We got almost 10,000 views for the stream so far, so we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Yeah, we covered Labor Day, Sam. I appreciate it. Yeah, remember, Monday, all markets are closed. And I'm looking forward to it. I don't have to do anything. Hey, what's up, X? Appreciate it. We enjoy the content. Hey, thank you, Leon. Appreciate it. Yeah. Malls are struggling too, bro. I see these stores in malls where I have no idea how. Like, I saw somebody that said, hey, we're in a simulation. And their justification for the argument of a simulation is that you go to the mall, you see all these stores, but nobody's ever in there. Nobody's ever in there in a lot of these stores. And the mall's expensive rent, you know. How are they, like, I saw a perfume store in the mall. Nobody's ever in there. Literally nobody's ever there. How are they succeeding in the mall? You know? I really don't know. How are they succeeding in the mall? I don't know. And I think mail orders just made that worse. All right, we're pulling back into the opening bell. Nvidia's pulling back. Look, Nvidia's at 180.25s right now. Yeah, I don't know how. They say A&F is doing good because of online sales. I don't know, man. Spencer's is a good store. I like Spencer's. Spencer's is where I went as a teenager to laugh with my friends. You know. All right, big pullback into the opening bell here, guys. See what we get, but. Nvidia's creeping back up, but look at Apple turn here. This is Apple dropping, causing this pullback in markets here. We got less than 2 minutes here, chat. Less than 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so all my Baton Rougians might remember Cortana Mall. No longer there. I think it's a big Amazon warehouse now. All right, look at this drop. We're at 632s right now. 632s. Apple at 230s. We're trending down now, though. Pop and fade kind of day, maybe. "40 seconds. All right, guys. We've been kind of flat today. I mean, markets are up a little bit, but we've been trending sideways for an hour or two. All right, guys, here we go. 5 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. The opening bell is here. And we'll see what we get. I'm going to wait 5 minutes. There's the bell. I'm going to wait 5 minutes to trade. Initially a negative reaction, but now a rebound back up. This is mostly driven by Nvidia, which is pushing up, trying to go green on the day of the opening bell. It's right up there. Nvidia now technically green on the day. We're up to almost 660s. Apple's breaking down here, but Nvidia is ripping up. Nvidia up to almost 182s now. 182s. Still pushing here. Now we're retracing. Remember, the opening bell can be volatile. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move. Sometimes it's not. And there's a lot of strength showing up. We're at 667s in the Nasdaq, 670s. Nvidia up to 182.50s here. A delayed reaction to the Nvidia news, and the market is pumping up this morning at the opening bell. Apple's down. Look at this move here. Let's watch 23.7s. 23.7s. Nvidia up to 183s right now. 183s. Wow. What a move. Look at the strength showing up here. Look, there's 23.7s. Ripped over that. Didn't even stop at it. Nvidia up to 184s right now. Nvidia might be close to breaking all-time highs. I think it is. Okay, now we might actually trade this a little bit, just because Nvidia is about to break all-time highs. I'm going to buy this. See if we push up with Nvidia testing all-time highs. It's a risky trade for the open, but it's okay. We'll see if we bounce at 7 and come back right back up there. Nvidia is at all-time highs right now. All right, we're going to take half off here. We're going to take another third off here. We're going to sit on this. Nvidia just broke all-time highs. I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest up there. That's fine. All right, guys. So far, so good. Nvidia really right at all-time highs. Look at the NASDAQ pump up here. Apple's starting to rebound back up. Did my music stop? It did. Okay, here, let me fix it. For all those Nvidia bears, you might be getting punished right now because Nvidia tapped all-time highs. Where's the all-time highs on Nvidia? Hold on, let me see. 184.48. We tapped 184.47. 184.47. We hit 1 penny away. And so I think a retest is very, very probable. You never know. It might be the biggest trap in history here. But I think Nvidia's going to retest this. I might be wrong. I think people in the NASDAQ understand this too. I don't usually trade the opening bell, but we can have some fun with this today. Nvidia went 1 cent away from the previous. All right, I'm gonna buy this now. One contract, very small. We'll add to it if we get into the green. We might add it back at 700 too. See if we can catch a bounce here. All right, we're green. Nicely green. I think Nvidia is going to bounce at this previous closing price. We're going to add to this right now. Could be wrong. There we go. Okay, we took half off there just to protect it. Lock the profit in. Maybe we'll add another piece down here. I think Nvidia is going to bounce at the previous close. There we go. We're going to take another half off there. Lock that in. Very quick scalps. It's the opening bell, guys. All right, there's a pop. I'm going to get out here. Very good trading at the opening bell. Nvidia looks like it's going to bounce, but It's still, it's actually retraced a pretty significant amount from tapping 1 cent away from its all-time highs. All right, so there's a rip up. Nvidia bouncing at that previous closing price VWAP level. Nasdaq just broke up there. It's at 740s. Gold's pushing up also here. Very interesting open with Nvidia right now. All right, guys, we're pulling back now. See if we bounce at 720. Nvidia going red on the day. Nvidia's at VWAP level. Apple's still moving up. I don't like this enough. It's too likely that Nvidia goes red here. But we'll see. Apple's going green, though. It's still propping the market up. Yeah, Nvidia got 1 cent away from all-time highs. 1 cent away. All right, guys, we're somewhere in the middle right now. Nvidia is now technically green on the day. Maybe gonna look for like a 7 pullback here. Expect choppiness, maybe a bounce at 200. A nice dip down to 7s. There's 7s. We actually got in a little bit lower than 7s here. That's a big drop though. Only 1 micro here. We're not gonna risk too much. We already made enough after the bell to give it back, but we're flat. Oh, somehow I've been muted. I've been talking to myself here. My bad, guys. I don't know what happened. I must have accidentally hit the button here. Which is okay. But Nvidia looks like it's making a pop back up there, though. That's what I'm looking at right now. If we got the time to catch it. Alright, so we actually made our money back plus a little bit on the other account. I'll show you. I don't know why it doesn't show. I gotta exit out of some of those positions. Built. Quotes. Yeah, so here's the trades we got in. We're doing pretty good. Like, I thought we would rebound. I thought Nvidia would make another test to go green on the day, and we did. Had to get in and out a couple different times, but that's all right. All right, now we're dipping down. Nvidia looks like it wants to make that push. I'm tempted to buy here, but been so trappy lately, but I'll try it. Maybe average in a little bit down to like 10 or 15 here. Maybe not need to. There we go. All right, we're out. Yeah, gold dipped, but it's starting to rebound back up. Again, the previous closing price for Nvidia is right here. So Nvidia completely flat. That's the previous closing price, that light blue line. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. I'm trading Top Step funded account. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell. Most day traders are going to lose their first account. And so it doesn't make any sense to fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars trying to look cool, get around the PDT rule. There's no PDT in futures. 50 bucks a month for the base one. You pass it, you get to keep your first 10K afterwards, and then 90% split after that. It's the best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward, and they pay out millions, fund thousands. Zero commission on Top Step X as well. You can check them out right here. They're an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them. Understand all this stuff on screen. Can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. And don't copy me. Might be terrible and have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't do it. All right. All right, we're down to sevens here. Let's see if we bounce at 7. We could. I had to trim my beard yesterday. I started to look like Grizzly Adams, I feel like. Alright, we're up to 230 60s. Let's tap 730s. I think Nvidia wants to go green. It's too close to that red to green level. You never know. Look at the NASDAQ push. This is Apple driven as well, it looks like. Apple's running up. Jack Harlow? Oh, I've got the curly hair. For sure. Somebody told me Jack Harlow. I've heard a couple different. I've heard people have basically said I look like a bunch of different people. You know. Top 3 most ambiguous looking person ever, I think. All right, so the Best Buy CEO said on tariff impact, says the White House has been open to feedback and has been seeking feedback across corporate America. Cheddar Bob. John Harlow, yeah. Good, I guess. Generic Sims? Bro, The Sims Online. I used to play The Sims Online when I was like young. Very fun game. I loved it because it was capitalist. Like The Sims Online, you could create your own casino and have people go to the casino, and you could change the odds of the slot machines. You know what I mean? So if you set terrible odds for them, nobody would ever come back. You know? But if you set odds too good, people would win too much money. You go broke. And so it's the sweet spot. You had to find the sweet spot. I had fun starting businesses there. Eventually they shut it down. I stopped playing after a while, but Sims Online was fun. All right, guys, but now we're starting to break down here. Very choppy open. We ran up at 8:30 when the Nvidia news came out and GDP and jobless claims came out. Since then, we're mostly big range, but sideways. Nvidia now technically red on the day. Apple kind of flat. Maybe PCE is important tomorrow. We're going to cover it live like we always do. But yeah, PCE is relevant. You want to pay attention to PCE. The Fed's a preferred inflation gauge, right? So if you want to see whether it's going to influence rate cuts. At least some. It's going to influence yields, that is, and rate cuts. All right, guys, so we're going down now. Maybe bounce now. I really don't know. Maybe we start trending down. We're cracking below some of these range levels. Watch 660. As a support, we'll see if it bounces at 660 or 650. High GDP and high PCE. Well, it would definitely negatively impact rate odds. All right, so we bounced right back up to the range here. Watch 700s. Maybe 700s could influence things. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I gotta turn my head a little bit. It hurts to move my head up, is what I'm realizing. Ugh. Is Bitcoin correcting? Yeah, Bitcoin down a little bit. Not much, but down to 112.8. Google's ripping up all morning too, so this is Google driving this as well. Hey, nice, Michelle. Good job. All right. We're now about 20 minutes after the bell. We don't really have anything. Redfin already kind of posted the... Redfin kind of already posted the pending home sales data. Waller speaks at 4 p.m. We have the Kansas City Composite Index. Not really anything that's going to move things. Tokyo CPI comes out. I've heard Canelo before, actually. I've heard Canelo, I've heard Paul Felder going into combat sports. As an MMA and jiu-jitsu fan, and, you know. As long as it's not Forrest Griffin. Somebody said Forrest Griffin one time. It hurt my heart right here, you know. All right, guys. Hey, we're moving down. We're at 680s. 680s. Gold moving up. We're at 34.63. Yeah, PCE tomorrow is important, right? PCE is the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. It's the Fed's preferred inflation metric. You want to watch the core PCE report. That's the big one you want to pay attention to, is core PCE inflation. Yeah, I can see it, Tony. I can see it, man. Uh, Apple event September. Yeah, early September, we got a lot of stuff, right? So September 9th is an important day. September 9th, we're going to have prelim benchmark revision data to non-farm payrolls based on QCEW data through March. This is annual, and the final benchmark is released with the January report in February. So next week, we'll get regulatory monthly revisions with August jobs report, and a few days later, the prelim annual benchmark revision. And Goldman Sachs is expecting that revision on the 9th to come in negative, right? That's going to be not next week, but the Monday after, the Tuesday after. But again, next week we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. It's the first non-farm payroll and unemployment report since we saw the big week in revised labor report that we got last month, right? That's what increased rate odds so much, is the revision that we got to the labor report last a couple weeks ago. Or like a month ago, really. But that is what influenced odds and everything on the upside. It's honestly what changed the tune of Jerome Powell, I think, at least a little bit, was those revisions. All right, so look at Nvidia start to fall down a little bit. We're back to 179. We've given back basically all the 830 gains from this news here. I don't want to buy this now. Let's try. Buy 648 is what we're going to buy here. So I don't know what it is about today. Like today, I will take a position and we will just dump the other way. It's happened like 5 times today, dude. Some days are just not good. I'm out. We're slightly red, but we're mostly flat. But man, dude, I don't know what is going on today, but it's literally like liquidity zones are getting hit. Y'all be careful. It's very hard to make money in this. Look at that drop here. Wow. You think I look like this? Is this me? I don't have red hair. My hair's brown. My beard's kind of red. I got some red in my beard for sure. Must be I got a little bit of Irish in me. I think I did a DNA test that said I was 15% Irish. I just watched The Departed with my daughter and wife, so I must be impervious to psychoanalysis. According to Freud. Maybe not. Top 3 least impervious people in the world right now. We're waiting here. Market's dumping down. I don't like it. I'm not messing with it, I think. Yeah, great movie. Honestly, really good movie. My daughter, every time I watch a movie with her, I'm like, hey, you want to watch this movie? It's good. She whines and cries about it, and she's like, no, it looks terrible. And I gotta just tell her, I'd be like, look, you're a terrible judge of movies. And I also told her, like, any Scorsese movie's good. You know, they're all good. All right, so now we're starting to bounce back up. We're at 23.6. $200 exponentials right here. I don't trust this market at all. I don't know if some news came out. Pending home sales are supposed to drop. I think Redfin already reported them at 8, but she's 16. MasterCard and Infosys collaborate to scale cross-border systems. Oh, she loved it. We watched it. She loved it. She likes Leonardo, you know. All right, Nvidia. Microsoft breaking down. Google's pushing up still, but Nvidia's broken down a lot. We're down to 178s. I think we find some support here at 6. It's possible, but you think I look 18, bro? Get out of here, dude. Come on now. I might look young, but I don't look 18. I don't think I necessarily look young either, though. All right, we're at 178s for Nvidia. Market will test your patience. Yeah, there's some days that no matter how hard you push, it's hard to make money. I should have quit while I was ahead, to be honest, but we're basically flat today, and I think that's fine. I'd rather be flat than down big. Market's tough right now. Big move up from GDP and Nvidia news. Big correction to the downside. Nvidia's now had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles in a row. And yeah, I don't know if I want to buy this. Yeah, don't pump my ego here, you know. I'm gonna start using words like impervious. Completely unnecessary word. Why don't you just say resilient or immune, you know? Impervious. All right, guys, we're at 620s. Bitcoin pushing up. Bitcoin's up a little bit. It's at almost 113s in Bitcoin futures. All right, we're starting to decrease now. We're at 605s. Google up to 210s. Yeah, Nasdaq still breaking down. Look at this drop. Nvidia is driving this here. Look at Nvidia down to 177. I guess this music's appropriate. We'll cover pending home sales when they come out, but I don't think they're going to be too big, to be honest here. Everybody mourn for Nvidia's losses today. Hey, that's good, eh? Good job. Every bounce getting hammered down. Yeah, Nvidia dumping down here. Sellers are in control right now. Get rid of 660. I mean, it might be a level actually right here. Yeah, it's probably a level. Clustered here. I'm bouncing at 580s. We got pending home sales in 2 minutes. We're gonna cover that, and then U.S. Department of Commerce partners with Chainlink to bring government macroeconomic data on chain. Is this the market getting baked into PCE print tomorrow? All right, guys, a minute and a half. Pending home sales might. I don't think they're gonna move. Not unless it's like big over or under. Expected at negative 0.4%. I think we already got a reading here for pending home sales. 2% is 2% increase in 10 months according to Redfin. 0.8% month over month, and 2.8% year over year in June. So we got the July numbers. It's expected at negative 0.4%. It releases in about a minute here, in about 1 minute. All right, chat. We got 20 seconds. All right, we hit 23.6, 23.6. Here's the data release right now. Let's see what we get. Pending home sales ended up showing up at negative 0.4% as expected. The pending home index was 71.7, but we showed up at negative 0.4% as expected. Nothing really big there. I'm going to cut out of here, guys. Remember, PCE inflation data tomorrow. PCE inflation data, incredibly important. Incredibly important. Yeah, PCE data tomorrow is big. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. There's no PDT rule on futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule. Great way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose money. Costs $50 to try it. It's not the end of the world if you fail it. A beautiful way to learn. Genuinely useful way to learn. So, yeah. I'll put the link up one more time. They're a sponsor. Am I not biased? I get paid by them. All right. And again, I'm going to end the stream. As soon as we end the stream, it should redirect you to the next stream. Tomorrow, bright and early. We're going to be here. Again, guys, hey, I love you all. You'll have a great day. Understand all the stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Maybe we'll get a rebound today. Maybe not. I don't know. We will see what we get right now. And listen, it's all love. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. PCE data coming tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Y'all be safe. We'll see what happens. And good luck.